Earth Day celebration. When the theme is Los Angeles versus plastic and the aim is to create zero waste, the winner is always going to be the planet.
We're celebrating Earth Day here with the Bureau of Sanitation and the Environment here in the 2nd Council District. This is the big citywide Earth Day celebration that the Bureau is putting on. It's a wonderful opportunity for people to come together and, first of all, enjoy some great food and entertainment, but also to learn so much more about all of the environmental services, the recycling services, the sanitation services that the city offers.
Today's fantastic. Like, everyone is excited. I care for the environment a lot, and I am always looking forward to what new things they got here. And plus, my daughter was performing today, so that's a plus also.
Barefooted and be all warm all the time.
This year's theme for Earth Day is LA versus plastic, and we are demonstrating today how we can live in a more sustainable way and reduce the amount of plastic that we put into our landfills and into the environment.
Me and my daughter, whenever we go out or we go to the beach, we see things that is not supposed to be there, we pick up things. And people should be doing that. Anywhere they go, it needs to be going to the trash, it should be going into the trash.
I think this new generation is more supportive of the environment and how they can play a role in slowing down climate change.
The public gets to come here and touch and feel the trucks and get information about the recycling programs that we have and the tree planting programs so that people know that their neighborhoods are being taken care of.
For more information on all things environmental in the city, including recycling and sustainability, visit lacitysand.org. Free trees? Yes, please. 100 trees were given away as part of Earth Day, and the trees came with free mulch to sustain their growth. As the San Fernando Valley lacks tree canopies, anyone putting down these roots will be helping to keep neighborhoods cool.
We're here at Tacoma City Hall and we're giving away 100 free trees to the first come, first serve residents of Los Angeles. Today you can actually pick up 7 trees. Each tree comes with 25 pounds of mulch as well, so that you can make sure you can maintain that tree. So we're really happy to put this event on every year during Earth Day, and we've had tons of residents come in and pick up their trees today.
Right here, all of these trees. Pick one, Nick. Good choice.
More than ever, especially our younger generation, know the importance of having trees, maintain them, not only keeping our areas beautiful and cool, but it's great having a little park in your own backyard and having that green space to enjoy.
Trees do make a difference in making, your area and your house cooler. Helps with the bills. It just gives the house a beautiful look as well.
San Fernando Valley, we've had issues with heat islands. It's one of the locations in LA that has the fewest amount of trees and green canopy. So having a tree in your home really helps bring down the temperature during the hot summer days. It's great for the environment, it cleans the air. Really encourage all our neighbors to have shade trees in and around their home. This, along with fire preparation, keeping clean barriers around your home is a great way to protect your home, make it look beautiful, and keep it cool. Visit cd7.lacity.gov. We have plenty of information there on all our events, and we'll keep you well informed. You can also join our newsletter on that website.
Whether you're looking for work or need some help retraining, the Economic Workforce Development Department is the place to go. Now the department has a new much-needed WorkSource space in Canoga Park, which has already helped create a career comeback of note.
You really, really need humanity to kind of reach out and hold your hand sometimes.
We are at the South Valley WorkSource Center grand opening. This is a fabulous organization, a fabulous location where individuals in the community can come and get the resources that they need to look for a job, to be matched with an employer. People can come in and have the resources in person to further themselves, to ensure that they can go forward and get career opportunities for living wage.
It's been a couple years in the making, and it's finally opened, and it's serving people. It's going to help many people find careers, get job training. Anybody who is transitioning careers, who may have just been unexpectedly out of work, this is a place where you can go to find that next step, to talk to counselors and receive training and certifications that will help you get to that next step.
I was the regional manager for a $9 billion company, and my life fell apart. It got so bad, at one point I was living in my car. It's a very, very scary feeling. This will change my life, and it already has. All of a sudden I'm starting to get through just with one certification of the 3 I'm working on through the WorkSource Center.
I never thought I'd need something like this, and just knowing that there were programs and people out there that could kind of give me a helping hand and help me in this time has been so instrumental to me and so meaningful. It's a really important program they have here.
When you find yourself out of work, or when you know somebody who's out of work and you want to help get them on their feet, the resources are here.
Attendees flocked to a free fun fair for all of our four-legged friends, furry and otherwise. Councilwoman Monica Rodriguez hosted everyone and their animals and ensured that many household pets got vaccinations, microchips, and a blessing.
It's another beautiful day, and clouds aren't putting a damper on today's energy. We've got a beautiful second annual convening of a Blessing of the Animals event along with a pet resource fair. In my district, we have not only a rich equestrian community, but obviously everyone loves their household pets. And we want to encourage everybody to be able to take care of them responsibly. We're offering microchipping for free for the first 100 attendees, and then we have the Blessing of the Animals. I'm really proud to bring this tradition to the San Fernando Valley and avail it to all of our pet-loving residents, because we all care about our animals very deeply, and we want to make sure that we protect them as best we can.
We showed up today because we didn't have any microchip in our dog Cappy here. Fortunately for us, we heard that they were giving off free chips for the first 100 people, and so we decided to show up, and thankfully we finally got a chip for our dog Cappy here.
I showed up to this event in Sylmar just to support camp. You know, they're part of a shelter in Mission Hills. It's a no-kill shelter, so I came to support them and got my dog vaccinated, and I totally recommend it for everyone who's trying to vaccinate their dogs and support this service.
So microchipping is important because we know that so often, unfortunately, like during the 4th of July or major fire events, that animals get separated from their owners when they get startled. And so microchipping is a really important way for us to reconnect and reunite families with their household pets. In addition to that, we are offering discounted services for vaccines and spay and neutering services, which are also very important so that we can really responsibly care and maintain the population of animals.
They took their time, they were very helpful, they were very understanding, very straightforward. It was very nice.
They definitely take care of your dogs. They explain to you every step of the way. I would definitely recommend them. If you have any questions, they'll explain.
We want to make sure that animals are safe, that they're cared for and loved, and have a healthy life. And so that's what this event is all about.
Local high schoolers checked into a recent career event at Van Nuys Airport to check out the many jobs available in the aviation sector. For anyone interested in this industry, the only way is up, and these young people's careers will soon be taking flight.
We're at Van Nuys Airport, Clay Lacey Aviation, and we're here to highlight the North Valley Occupational Center Scholarship Program. We've given over $90,000 to over 180 active enrolled students. Clay Lacey is our namesake. He's the founder of Clay Lacey Aviation. He was the first person to bring Learjets to the Van Nuys Airport back in 1968 when he founded the company. And now the company has blossomed to an aircraft charter management company. We manage over 160 airplanes with about somewhere in the ballpark of 350 to 400 pilots and over I would say about 10,000 employees in other positions across the company.
At North Valley Occupational Center, we have a free aviation maintenance and mechanics program that prepares students to get their airframe and power plant license so that they can become employable in the aviation industry.
Being here was pretty cool. It made me a little bit interested about planes and jets and flying. When one of the jet person, he said that he gets to fly around the world, it made me a little bit interested in partaking in this.
I know that other AMP schools cost up to $30,000 a year. Our program is completely free. We offer scholarships as well for students, who, when they complete the program, to help them pay for their testing fees with the FAA. We have about 13,000 new jobs in the industry per year. So that's why we bring the high school kids in today so that they can know about this industry.
We are all very passionate about what we do and want to share this gift of aviation that's been bestowed upon us by other aviators in the past.
If you're interested in the program, you can go to nvlc.org, that's northvalleyoccupationalcenter.org, and join our interest list. We enroll 3 times a year.
Assistance for 99-cents only store workers, Olympiad Sport and Poetry Opportunity, Port of LA's Community Investment Grants. These stories up next on City Beat.
Mayor Karen Bass announced that the city will provide resources to support workers who are going to be impacted by the closure of 99-cents only stores in LA. The commerce-based chain announced it would close all 371 of its stores, which operate across 4 states with 30 locations within the city of LA. In response to the closures, the Economic and Workforce Development Department, EWDD, has already activated its Rapid Response Team. The Rapid Response Team will share resources with 99-cents only city store employees and will coordinate with LA County so all employees get support. In addition, EWDD will offer daily virtual presentations to help workers access available resources. For more information, go to ewdd.lacity.gov. The Department of Cultural Affairs, DCA, is accepting applications from poets, spoken word artists, and/or songwriters to take part in a cultural Olympiad program. Candidates should have recent works, published or unpublished, that address sports, cultural inclusion, and/or shared values between France and the U.S. 48 artists representing the best writers from LA will be offered a commission to create a new work on the theme of art and sport. 7 selected writers will then travel to Paris for public activities, culminating in a performance of their best work, which will also be live streamed to LA. DCA's Paris 2024 Cultural Olympiad Sport and Poetry Program requests online applications with a resume and work samples by Thursday, May 9th, 2024. For more information, visit culture.lacity.gov. The Port of Los Angeles is now accepting applications for their Community Grants program. The grants are provided by the Harbor Revenue Fund, which is self-supported from shipping and lease revenue without taxpayer money. Some programs funded via the grants include art walks, holiday celebrations, educational programs, and at-risk youth events. Grant categories are divided into general grants under $100,000 and large grants over $100,000 with applications due by May 6, 2024. Last year, 37 local nonprofits received $1.5 million in funding under the grant program, including the Boys and Girls Club and the LA Maritime Institute. For more information on how to apply, click the Grants tab at portoflosangeles.org/community.
It's a pool party with a difference. The City of LA's Department of Recreation and Parks hosted its World Autism Awareness Water Safety Pool Party. Between the bubbles, the snacks, and the sensory stations, being safe in the water looks like fun too. Let's dive right in.
Today at Van Nuys Sherman Oaks Aquatic Center, we are having our second annual Autism Awareness Water Safety Pool Party. We are so excited. This is a free event for the whole community citywide. We did this last year and had about 130 people attend, and so we're hoping for even more this year. We have activities for all ages starting at 3 years old, but of course anyone is welcome. We have free swim lessons starting at 3 years old. We have paddleboarding, we have a CPR station, tons of snacks, a bubble station, and some sensory stations as well.
In order to teach kids who have autism, you have to have a lot more patience. We find something they're interested in, and we allow them to explore and grow. And, you know, we break down our lessons a little bit more in depth. We provide swim lessons for people with disabilities at low cost or no fee. And we modify all the lessons to whatever their needs are.
This event came out because I am one of the adaptive coordinators for Citywide Aquatics for Recreation and Parks, along with a couple of my colleagues, and we feel so passionately about making sure that swim lessons and water safety are equitable for our whole LA City community. So in partnership with Play LA, we have this wonderful event where everyone can come out and feel safe in the water and learn how to be safe in the water, whether you're at an LA City pool or at any beach or body of water in the city.
To find out more about City of LA youth and adaptive youth sports programs, search for Play LA at laparks.org. Although you'd never know it today, from 1946 until 1954, there was a village with homes and stores in Griffith Park. The Roger Young Village was hastily assembled on the aerodrome after World War II and was home to about 1,500 families. A recent event revealed more about this hidden history.
So we're here commemorating the history of the Roger Young Village, which was a public housing facility that was opened for returning veterans from World War II. When the village was at its height, there were 6,000 residents here. And when it was open, it was one of the most diverse places in Southern California.
This was an amazing place to grow up, an amazing place to live, with black families, white families, Latin families, all together, neighbors. It was the most diverse housing situation maybe in the country.
For a kid, it was the most wonderful environment you could have. Animals in the foothills, all kinds of birds and things that just don't exist in the park anymore. They've fled the environment. It's too rough for them here, but as a kid it was perfect. It was like living in a zoo.
President Truman had mandated that this be the first integrated veterans housing facility in America. It was part of its very mission that it bring people of different backgrounds together, and that is exactly what it did.
I hope you go out there to see the sign, the plaque that commemorates the Roger Young Village. It's one thing to say the facts, it's another thing to stand on the space and just sort of imagine it.
I never thought that we'd ever see this day come. I'm in my 80s now, and those of us who lived here are now about 75 to 85 years old. So it's a great thing to live to see this finally happen.
When so many of our unhoused residents here in the city of Los Angeles are veterans, it feels like it is and was a lesson for us in our work, and I continue to draw inspiration from our city's history as we shape its future.
The City of LA's Conservation Corps is out of the classroom and not only hitting the streets, they are repairing them as they go. They're getting hands-on experience preserving the pavements and doing some work that's so solid, it's set in concrete.
Today we're actually at the CD7 Sidewalk training program in Pacoima. Our core members learn how to come out in the field and actually repair and replace concrete sidewalks. Training started in the classroom. They learned basic safety procedures of construction and how to handle power tools. And on the site, they actually do the actual work. They learn the grading aspects of it and actually how to set forms and to pour and finish the concrete.
From what I heard, this sidewalk has caused a lot of accidents to the people living around here, bikers, people walking, people on wheelchair.
It was bad. It was bad beforehand. And seeing this is a big improvement from where it was.
There's a lot of people that have gone to college and they turn around, just like me, they turn around and I'm going into construction because there's a need for people who can work things out.
This is a good training program because it actually helps two things. It helps teach the kids a skill and it actually makes the street safer to walk in.
Honestly, it makes me feel good. It makes me feel good seeing that I'm doing good for the community.
They get the bug in here. A lot of them get the bug. They get the thrill of actually seeing something done.
In the future, for sure, I'm going to continue my work in masonry, hopefully to become a finisher. And then I have a plan to get an LLC too, and then try to do something with that.
I'll probably find myself driving through these streets anyways. And if I'm driving with anybody, I'm going to be like, hey, look, I built this, you know? It's something to be proud of.
In this week's feature story, history is made at the Los Angeles Police Department as the first Latina is promoted to the position of deputy chief at the LAPD. It's certainly cause for celebration and a pause for reflection from new Chief Ruby Flores. Take a look.
We're in Hollenbeck area at La Plaza de la Raza. And today is my celebration for my promotion to the rank of Deputy Chief. I am the first Latina Deputy Chief of the Los Angeles Police Department in over 155 years.
It just really goes to show how far this department's come in diversity and inclusiveness, women in policing. This is just a proud moment for not only her, but for me and the department in this city. And so I'm excited to be here and share that with her. I've had a long-standing relationship with Ruby, and she's such a wonderful person. She's worked so hard to achieve this milestone. I'm proud of her and excited to be part of the celebration.
It was a job that when I started in 1994 wasn't popular, and many women wouldn't even think of doing this. Young girls who may be discouraged or think that this job may not be for them, I beg to differ. The type of work that we do is really about building bridges, building relationships, and serving and truly, sincerely protecting all of our community members. I too had a negative experience with the police in my early 20s, and I used that as an opportunity to change the way that people are treated by the police.
Congratulations to Chief Flores. This is another historic first. But what I do know of you is it won't be the last. You've broken barriers and you will continue to break barriers. And every honor that's bestowed upon you is one that you've earned, and you've earned the hard way. I have to say that in the short time that I've been with the city family, you have been an example, you have been of service, you have taken every one of my calls, and you've helped me every time I needed it.
I hope that they take away from this moment that what they see, they can be. I hope that they come away with a sense of hope. I truly believe that representation matters, and my position does matter. People are looking and watching. Among those are the young girls that I hope can look up and say, you know what, I can do that too.
In this week's Things to Do, Real Abilities Film Festival LA, Catch the Ballad of Gregorio Cortés, and a financial wellness and resource fair. All this up next on Things to Do.
It's lights, camera, action for inclusivity at the 6th Annual Real Abilities Film Festival LA on Saturday, May 4th and Sunday, May 5th. The City of Los Angeles Department on Disability invites everyone to enjoy this 2-day film festival, promoting awareness and appreciation of the lives, stories, and artistic expressions of people with disabilities. The Real Abilities Film Festival is a showcase of talent along with panel discussions and post-screening conversations. The festival takes place in downtown LA's California Plaza, an outdoor venue. This event is free to attend and all are invited. The 6th Annual Real Abilities Film Festival LA is on Saturday, May 4th and Sunday, May 5th from 11 a.m. each day. For more information on the schedule of screenings, please visit the festival website at realabilitiesla.org. Join the Los Angeles Public Library on Cinco de Mayo, Sunday, May 5th, for a celebration honoring Mexican heritage. The library will present a screening of the classic movie The Ballad of Gregorio Cortez with short films by Ghetto Film School students. Now preserved on the National Film Registry, The Ballad of Gregorio Cortez is a culturally significant film featuring Edward James Olmos in the title role of Cortez. Following the film, there'll be a Q&A with film producer and community activist Moctezuma Esparza. The screenings will be in LA's Central Library Mark Taper Auditorium. This event is open to the public and free to attend. Catch LA Made Presents El Cine and Ghetto Film School, The Ballad of Gregorio Cortez on Sunday, May 5th at 2 p.m. For more information, visit lapl.org/events. Councilmember Curran Price invites you to a financial wellness and resource fair taking place on Saturday, May 4th. This community event will feature financial workshops with booths on tax preparation and information about other resources. Presentations will be given on Money Management 101, Introduction to Estate Planning, and Home Ownership. There will also be music, food, a kids zone, and raffle prizes throughout the fair, so the whole family is invited to come along. The fair takes place at the Constituent Services Center on South Central Avenue. The Financial Wellness and Resource Fair is on Saturday, May 4th, beginning at 10 a.m. For more information, visit cd9.lacity.gov/calendar. And that's a look at some things to do.
And that's all for this week. I'm Natalia Bilbao, and from all of us here at LA This Week, thank you so much for joining us. Remember that you can watch us online anytime at lacityview.org, and we're also on Instagram, Facebook, X, and YouTube. See you next time for more LA This Week.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to this meeting of your Los Angeles City Council. Today is Wednesday, May 1st, 2024. I'm Paul Krikorian, President of the City Council, and we're ready to begin today's meeting. Public comment will be taken today both live here in the John Ferraro Council Chambers and by teleconference. Mr. Clerk, if you could please call the roll.
Yes, Mr. President. Blumenfield, De Leon, Harris-Dawson, Hernandez, Hutt, Krikorian, Lee, McOsker, Padilla, Park, Price, Rahman, Rodriguez, Soto Martinez, Yaroslavsky, 10 members present and a quorum, Mr. President.
Thank you. First order of business.
Approval of the minutes of April 30th, 2024.
Councilmember McOsker moves. Councilmember Hutt seconds. Next.
Commendatory resolutions for approval.
Councilmember Soto Martinez moves. Councilmember Padilla seconds. Next, let's run through the agenda, please.
Mr. President, there is a request to refer item 2, Council File number 13-1082-S1, to the Ad Hoc Committee on City Governance Reform.
Without objection, that'll be the order. Next.
Item 1 is an item notice for public hearing. The Los Angeles Department of Building and Safety recommends to receive and file the lien for item 1 in as much as the lien has been paid in full. Items 2 through 13 are items for which public hearings have been held. Items 14 through 24 are items for which public hearings have not been held. Items 25 and 26 are closed session items for which public hearings have not been held. 10 votes are required for consideration.
Very good. Without objection, members, those items are now before us. Do any members have any items that you would like to call special? Councilmember Price.
Thank you, Madam President. On advice of City Attorney, I'm recusing myself from item 5 because my wife's employer has worked with recipients of HHAP funding.
Item 5. Very good. Thank you. Any other specials, members? Councilmember Soto Martinez.
Hi, thank you, Council President. I'd like to call item 4 for comments, please.
4?
Yes, please.
Very good. Any other specials, members? All right. Seeing none, Mr. Clerk, what's available now for the council to vote on?
Mr. President, the council may now vote on items 3, 6 through 13.
Those items are now before us. Do any members wish to be heard? Seeing none, let's open the roll.
No.
Okay, again, I apologize, members. Those items are now before us. Let's go ahead and open the roll, close the roll, and tabulate the votes.
11 ayes.
All right. So with that, Mr. Soto Martinez, are you prepared to begin your presentation? Very good. You have the floor.
Great, so let's just give folks the opportunity to come up here. If all the speakers can come up, it would be wonderful. Councilmember Padilla's here.
Councilmember Soto Martinez, Councilmember Padilla, good morning.
Yes, thank you so much, Council President. So today we are here to celebrate May Day in the city of Los Angeles. Yeah, let's give a round of applause. Every year on May 1st, in recognition of the Haymarket Affair of Chicago of 1886 and the socialist struggle for workers' rights, people around the world celebrate the struggles and victories of the working class people who make our society run. But here in Los Angeles, we always give our little unique spin to a lot of these celebrations because one of the first big marches that happened in the city of Los Angeles around May Day was in 2000. It was a coalition of folks from Chirla, which is also a coalition, by the way, folks didn't know that, but the Garment Worker Center, the Filipino Worker Center, IDAPSCA, and the Korean Immigrant Workers Alliance, and others came together in an incredible show of force uplifting workers and immigrants' rights. Since then, the march has transformed into different demands, always centering workers and immigrants, but also we have fought for Black lives, LGBT equality, to close the gender gap, and so much more. And the impact of these protests are still being felt today in this incredible diversity of power and movement, which is shown by the workers here with me today. I'm especially excited that this year, the march will be in Hollywood, in the heart of CD13. And just FYI, that was not a coincidence. They decided to do the march in Hollywood, but I'm very happy to host them in my district because Hollywood is known around the world as an iconic destination for so many people. But oftentimes, the below-the-line workers, the members of IATSE, the janitors, the folks that clean those buildings, the immigrants, and all the people that are from behind the scenes to make all these Hollywood productions are oftentimes ignored. So today, I invite everyone to join us in the streets as we march for the right to strike, the right for citizenship, and the right to uplift working people. And so without further ado, I'd like to introduce my colleague and friend from the 6th District, Councilmember Imelda Padilla.
Well, good morning, everyone, and thank you, Councilmember Soto Martinez, for choosing me as your partner to get this going today. What a great holiday, a great day to celebrate together. I am proud to join you alongside our guests to uplift the significance of May Day and of immigrants and worker power here in Los Angeles. I want to begin by expressing my solidarity with the members of IATSE and SEIU USWW who are in the midst of their own union contract negotiations. Yes. Because everybody, we all want our buildings, our airplanes clean, as well as our movies and all of our shows that bring us entertainment to be made, and we want the workers that make it happen to live a dignified life. So please, count on my support as you work to reach a fair contract. When I look back to my own introduction to the labor movement, I think about my college days when I spent a summer as an organizer with the Justice for Janitors campaign in Texas. I was working to help janitors and immigrants with an organization named Carecen and America para Todos, who are some of the most poorly paid workers in society. We came together to advocate for their rights to have a union and bargain for better pay and working conditions. When I think about the labor movement here in Los Angeles, I think about one of my favorite movies, Bread and Roses, which is based on the historical janitor strike in Century City, Los Angeles that took place in the 90s, giving birth to the Justice for Janitors campaign. A lot of good people that I call mentors today came out of that movement. Justice for Janitors soon became one of the first union organizing drives that elevated the struggles of undocumented Latino workers. And it energized a movement for immigrants and workers' rights that recognized the intersectionalities of race, economic class, and immigration status. And of course, the predominantly Latino immigrant worker who won major improvements to their wages, working conditions, and quality of life altogether. This year's theme for 2024 May Day March is Solidarity is Power. And that is exactly what forming a union helps you learn. That coming together in solidarity, we can transform our lives. This year, thousands of workers, immigrants, students, teachers, parents, and people of faith will march in Hollywood, the entertainment capital of the world. This is an important time to raise visibility on the historic efforts that gains the Hollywood unions like WGA, SAG-AFTRA, Teamsters, and soon IATSE are making for entertainment industries. Art production is changing, and thus the work to creating it is as well. But we must not forget that the industry does not just employ people in front of the camera or even operating behind the camera. They are also hospitality, tourism, small businesses, a lot of small businesses in my district, and service workers that support the success of these industries, and it is time they get the dignity and respect they deserve too.
That's right.
As we look to the future, we must also recognize how the rapid evolution of technology will impact all of these jobs. And most importantly, we must come together in solidarity to ensure that every worker in these industries gets their fair share of the pie. Because remember, the revolution comes when the worker cannot afford to consume what they produce. So with that, I'm happy to introduce our next guest, SEIU Secretary Treasurer Alejandra Valles.
Good morning, council members. And thank you to Hugo Soto Martinez and to Imelda Padilla for the recognition today. I especially want to uplift my brother here, Hugo Soto Martinez, for his leadership, not just on recognition, but on actions, on raising the living wage for hospitality workers, for recamareras, and for airport workers like Javon Houston, who suffers with OCPD at LAX. I am here to ask all of you to stand here in the City of Angels in dignity and respect for what's happening to workers in our city. It is a city of angels for some, and it is a city of hell for others. Hilda Mendez works as a janitor over 30 years. Ana Castro on my t-shirt. We recognized her, but nobody asked her why she's in a wheelchair after cleaning 60 toilets a night at the Wells Fargo building here in downtown LA. Javon Houston suffers from OCPD, fighting for Black worker justice in South LA in the airport. No more recognition, brothers and sisters. You have the power to sign on to the living wage, to raise the living wage, and you don't need a study. This is your study. This is your study. The workers' expertise is your study. And I'm happy to stand with you in March and stand this May Day with immigrant workers and Black workers, but we do not need more recognition. We need actions. Everybody knows that the darker that California gets, the lighter the funding. The darker that the workers get, the stronger the exploitation. And the darker that the state of California gets, those voices get softer. So this International Workers' Day, on behalf of the Black workers that are fighting for Black worker justice at LAX, on behalf of the janitors that are scrubbing toilets humbly for a living, let's do what's right. So I have one question for you. ¿Se puede? Sí se puede. And that's a question. It's not just what Cesar Chavez said and what Mike Garcia and what janitors and workers have said. It's a question. ¿Se puede? Sí se puede. ¿Se puede on raising the living wage at the airport? Sí se puede. Se puede for the janitors that are fighting the developers right now so that they can actually protect themselves on workload. Sí se puede. So, brothers and sisters, no more recognitions. Thank you for that. But what we want is actions, not just words. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your powerful words, Secretary Treasurer. Of course, Si Se Puede, also known as Yes We Can. And next up, I'd like to bring a friend of mine, Executive Director of CHIRLA, Angelica Salas.
Buenos días a todos. Good morning to everybody. My name is Angelica Salas. I am the Executive Director of CHIRLA, the Coalition for Humane Immigrant Rights, and I am so proud to stand here with our CHIRLA members. ¿Dónde están los miembros de CHIRLA? We are the May Day Coalition, and CHIRLA is very proud to be part of this. And we are here as working together to ensure that immigrant, civil rights, and labor rights are actually protected. We are organizations that are working together to ensure that when we organize, we then stand publicly in support of all the things that our communities need. On behalf of CHIRLA and the LA May Day Coalition, we thank you, City Council Member Hugo Soto Martinez, and we also thank you, Councilwoman Imelda Padilla. And we also thank everybody who's in right now, all our members of council who have marched with us, who have fought for us, and who have uplifted our workers and our immigrant families. In a few hours, we will host one of the largest International Workers' Day marches in this country. Today, we march with the theme, Solidarity is Power, the People United. The march has identified 4 key demands. Number 1, good paying union jobs along with the right to strike. We are marching for a path to citizenship for the 11 million undocumented immigrants. Many of them who are here, many of whom who have lived in this country for decades. They have spent their entire life in this country, in this city, and we need to recognize them. And as you said, Alejandra, not just recognize them with words, but we need laws and policies that uplift their families, that ensure that they can live with tranquility and peace. We also are standing with the people of Gaza and a ceasefire. We believe that it is unfair to have a situation in this moment in which we have war and people are forced to leave their homes. There is war in this world that is forcing millions upon millions of people to have to run for their lives. And we have to uplift in this country the right to asylum and refuge. And when we have to understand that war causes forced migration. So we are here marching for all our brothers and sisters in this world who are just seeking to have life and family and just the basic things that human beings deserve. Los Angeles is a place where dreams come true, but it's also a place where dreams go to die. We will march because we believe in a city where workers can earn a living wage, where immigrants can make something of themselves and their families, where local government can welcome refugees with dignity and respect, where housing is not a privilege but a right, and where our immigration status doesn't define us, and where we send a resounding message that where we want life, where we say we want, that we want to ensure that our communities can thrive, that our families can live in dignity and peace, that they can have a roof over their face, over their family, and that we can make sure that when people seek protection, they are given that protection. So que vivan los trabajadores, que vivan los inmigrantes, y que también viva la ciudad de Los Ángeles. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your powerful and moving words, Angelica. And next up, I'd like to bring a union brother. I've been in the same room for so many years. I'd like to welcome up Tom Davis from IATSE.
Good morning. I'd like to start by acknowledging Council President Krikorian. It's good to see you again. And I also want to thank Council Member Soto Martinez for inviting us today to address the council. I am Tom Davis, International Representative, and with me this morning is Joel Galarza, a business representative from IATSE Local 80, as well as Malachi Simmons, who is the Vice President of IATSE Local 728. May Day, or as some would, as we like to refer to as International Workers' Day, holds a special significance for those of us in the entertainment industry. May Day is significant because it signifies the ongoing struggle for entertainment workers and all workers in their struggle for safe working conditions, the ability to maintain and create a middle-class lifestyle for themselves and their families. Our members, the technicians and artists that make the magic happen in the entertainment industry, face some of the most extreme, unique challenges, yet are among the most unrecognized. The long hours, working in inhospitable conditions, and the uncertainty of employment, and of course, the recently added threat of artificial intelligence. Today, May Day, is marked with peaceful demonstrations, showing our solidarity with all workers to publicize the benefits of coming together and speaking with one voice. It should not be lost on any of us that the struggle of the labor movement is responsible for some of what is now considered some of our most basic rights. That's right. We should remind ourselves that these rights that we take for granted today were achieved only through struggle and martyrdom. It was born of the movement for the 8-hour day. On May 1 of 1886, the American Federation of Labor called for a nationwide strike to demand an 8-hour day. On that day, in that year, a provocateur, set in motion a struggle that lives on today. Working people coming together to improve their lives for themselves and their communities for which they live, and recognizing that the 8-hour day was the impetus for this movement, the ties that bind. It is rather ironic that as I stand before you right now, the IATSC, the union that represents the largest number of entertainment workers in the world, is in negotiations with the multinational employers that make up the Association of Motion Picture and Television Producers, fighting for humane work hours and rest periods. And there must be recognition that the transitory nature of the work demands that the workers are compensated in a fair and just manner. We do this 138 days after the first May Day. 138 years. That the profits garnered through the sweat, tears, and sometimes the lives of those workers deserve to be compensated in a way that allows them and their families to live with dignity. 2, after years of giving to the corporations, to be able to retire and enjoy life with their families and their loved ones in their waning years. Our movement is not just about getting more. We know that history has shown that when we have strong unions, we have a strong middle working class, and when we have a strong working middle class, their entire community prospers, and I thank you.
Thank you so much, Tom Davis. That's it for, we have some folks. Yes.
Thank you very much, Mr. Soto Martinez, Ms. Padilla. We do have a couple of members on the queue. I'd first like to recognize Councilmember Harris Dawson, followed by Councilmember Hernandez.
Thank you so much, Mr. President, and thank you so much, Councilmember Padilla and Soto Martinez and all of our labor leaders that are here. This is always a special day for me and a special day for this city. My dear sister Angelica Salas, who we started off as organizers together, I want everybody to know she called me and said, you got to be at this march on May 1st in the year 2000. And so we did a big mobilization from Community Coalition, and we went there, and it was so gorgeous. It was every kind of people from every corner of the city walking down the street, marching in unity as workers. And your colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, managed to get arrested that day. And so May 1st, 2000 and May 2nd, 2000 are the only days I've ever spent inside a prison involuntarily. And I have my good friend Angelica to thank for bringing me to that event. But that event was important, and this event this morning is important. One of the dynamics that happens in this country and every country is there's an effort to divide workers. Documented workers against undocumented workers, black workers against brown workers, middle-class workers against working-class workers. And so what we do here in Los Angeles is we unite working people, because that's how this city was built. Every part of our great city, whether it's South LA, the Northeast San Fernando Valley, the West Side, San Pedro, all of these neighborhoods were built on the backs of union families. And so we always want to remember that here in the city of Los Angeles, and thank you for coming and reminding us afresh and doing it in a way that we can all be proud of. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Councilmember Hernandez, followed by Councilmember Price.
Thank you, Council President. Thank you, Councilmember Hugo Soto Martinez and Councilmember Padilla for bringing in these incredible leaders and workers and advocates to our council. I want to share that I've been a IATSE B192 member for nearly 5 years when I used to work at Universal Studios and was there when contract negotiation was happening. I wasn't a part of it, but I was someone who reaped the benefits of that work, and I'm internally grateful for the work that unions do to make sure that we get sick pay, that we get paid correctly for our overtime, and that we get the benefits that help support our families. And I appreciate the call to action, because you're right, it's not enough just to celebrate you in here and bring you in today, but we have to take action, and I just would love to, get more clear direction from y'all on how we can do that effectively. But thank you so much for making this happen, and que viva los trabajadores. Gracias.
Thank you. Councilmember Price, followed by Councilmember McCosker.
Thank you, Mr. President. Wanted to also thank council members for bringing labor to the House today. It's really an exciting and important opportunity for us to reaffirm and to reassert that we are committed. You know, I represent a community that has native-born and immigrants who are working hard to make a difference in this community, serving their families. And so it's only fair that we make sure that they are getting the wages, the benefits, and the respect that they deserve. As my colleagues have referenced, we know that the working class folks have really built this community. We stand on the backs of their efforts. We continue to stand on the backs of their efforts. And so it's just important that we celebrate May Day, celebrate those who are working, celebrate those who are benefiting, and celebrating our community. So thank you again for being here.
Thank you. Councilmember McCosker.
Thank you so much, council members, for bringing in these great labor leaders and workers that represent just a swath of the many, 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 many people across all demographics who work so hard in the city of Los Angeles. You know, I come from a community in the 1-5 where we have many fights to protect our workers. I'm wearing my longshoreman's hook today because I'm reminded that every single day, not just today, but every single day, we need to fight for the very existence of some workforces because we're fighting against multinational companies and AI and automation. And so we have to remember everybody just across this entire, beautiful city. For some, it's the City of Angels. For some, it's a much different story. That's right. Completely get that. And I also want to just take 2 points of personal privilege. I want to recognize my older brother. Did I say older brother? Pat McCosker, former labor leader here in the city of Los Angeles. And I think Pat and I would both want to recognize my brother Mike, who passed, who deeply, deeply, deeply cared for the labor movement. And what little I know about the labor movement, I learned from my brother Mike. Everything I know, I got from him, but he didn't teach me everything he knew. So thank you very much for being here.
Thank you. Councilmember Soto Martinez to close.
Yeah. Thanks so much, everyone, for your wonderful and heartfelt words. But yeah, I want to invite everyone today. Sunsetting Gower at 2 p.m. We'll conclude at 5 p.m. on Hollywood and Highland. And let's hear it one more time for our amazing speakers and all the great comments.
Thank you all very much for being with us today. I'd like to next recognize Councilmember Harris Dawson for our next presentation, please. Sorry, my mistake, Councilmember Harris Dawson. I apologize for that. Councilmember Price is our next presentation.
Without them, you call it radio. Good to see you. I didn't recognize you.
Councilmember Price, good morning.
Good morning, Mr. President. Colleagues, we have a chance again to celebrate another angel in our city family who's going to be leaving. Today marks a special day as we come together to honor the retirement of one of our very own, Loida Gargantia. Let's give it up for Loida. She entered this world on June 30th, 1967 in Manila, Philippines. At only 11 years old, she embarked on a courageous journey to the U.S. Although she faced many challenges along the way, she navigated through each obstacle and was determined to follow the path of success. Following her graduation from Belmont High in 1986, Loida pursued her degree from Cal State LA. She simultaneously worked at the Fidelity Title Company alongside her sister Myra. There's Myra. Okay. Despite facing setbacks, including a layoff, she embraced the opportunity to grow with new beginnings. This is where her city employment commenced. Her long-standing career in the city of LA began 30 years ago as a clerk typist in the Creative Services Department. Today, she stands as a senior administrative clerk in the payroll department and will be leaving a lasting impression on all those who have had the privilege of working with her. Beyond her professional and personal achievements, her character radiates charm and compassion. Her humble demeanor, coupled with a contagious giggle and a love for life's simple pleasures, has endeared her to all who have known her and the privilege of working with her. As we say goodbye to her on her well-deserved retirement, I hope that we can continue to take peace in her resilience and kindness as we continue to matriculate as city employees and elected officials. Loida, today, your 30 years of hard work have not gone unnoticed, and we want to thank you for all you've done for the city of Los Angeles. Congratulations on your retirement, and may you have many happy days ahead. And now we got a colleague and friend, Patricia Jimenez, who will say a few words. Patricia?
Good morning, everyone. Thank you. I just want to say the most warmest, heartfelt thank you to Loida. I had the joy of meeting her in 2007 when I joined the city clerk family, and I've been working with her since then. It's been an absolute pleasure. Her kind nature and her attention to detail just made it such an easy transition. We cried, I think, the first 2 years as we settled into our new roles. But I think it's just more than anything, I just want to say that it's an absolute honor to call you a friend and family. And I just wish you the very best in this new chapter and this new season. And all I can say is enjoy, savor every moment, and I look forward to hearing all the memories that you form.
Right. Another colleague and friend, Lynn Harrow.
Thank you, Council Member. I have had the honor and pleasure of working with Loida for the past 12 years. Her dedication to her job has been unwavering. Loida, you have made me a better employee. Get up here, Loida. A better supervisor and a better person. Loida, your infectious laughter will be heard down our halls for many, many years to come. We have celebrated together. We have grieved together. But most importantly, we have become family. It is an understatement to say that we will miss you, and your timing right before the workday transition is a little suspicious, but we're going to forgive you for that. But here in front of the honorable council members, in front of staff, your beautiful family, and I know that your mom and your brother are looking down on you with great love and admiration. We want to congratulate you on your retirement, and we love you.
Okay, I understand we got a video presentation from our city clerk.
Hi, Loida. I wanted so badly to be there for you today. I'm sick, so thought it was better for everyone if I stayed home. But it's really important to me to thank you for 30 plus years of service to the city clerk. You've worked with us the whole time. First, you provided services to creative services, keeping track of all the proclamations and resolutions that were sent to creative services. And then in 2010, when our department was cut in half during ERIP and the city was in really bad financial shape and we were trying to save jobs, we moved you into payroll from creative services. And I don't know whether it was something you wanted, but you handled it with such grace and you were so nice and so professional, and you have been ever since. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much, Loida. I wish you a wonderful retirement. We are definitely going to miss you, but know that this is a good time for you and your family, and wish you all the best. So bon voyage, and keep in touch with us.
Okay, before we hear from the woman of the hour, we got to hear from Albert from City Graphics. Albert?
Thank you, council members. Well, I had the privilege of working with Loida half of my city career. Oh, sorry. And I have the honor of being her friend for 25 years. Friend of the family also. So She asked me not to do any certificates for her, but it wasn't only me. I had Candy Beretta and Council President Chief of Staff Garro requesting it. So, but I wanted, this was a special for me because it's a thank you card from me and my family to you for dealing with me. Okay, thank you, congratulations, best wishes, and happy and healthy retirement, okay? I did it anyway. Thank you.
Now, our angel of the day, Loida. Yes.
First of all, I just want to say thank you to my bosses here. And like they said, it's not just bosses, they're just friends. And of course, to my family. I can't believe my sister woke up early just for this. And of course, my husband and my son, who's here, always supporting me. And you know, it's been 30 years, I can't believe it, but I've met so many friends, and they will be missed, definitely. But I'm so happy that I'm working for the city, and I count my blessings every day. So thank you all. Thank you all for doing this for me.
On behalf of a grateful city.
All right, Mr. Price, before we give the big cert, we got a few members on the queue that want to make comments, starting with Mr. John Lee.
Loida, I can't believe there's somebody that I feel like I've grown up with in this building that's actually retiring. You know, throughout the years, whether it was creative services or in your role as personnel, I always felt that you were politely scolding me for one reason or another. Whether it's my last-minute cert requests, you know, that we had when I was working for Councilman Wax, or when I was chief of staff, making pay adjustments, and you reminding me, John, you have to do it on certain days. And you always came to me, and you know, you would tell me like, why are we always involving retroactive? Why can't you just plan ahead and put the pay raises at the right time? And Lloyd, you've been a friend of mine for those years. I started in this building in 1996. You were here at every step of the way. I just, it's sad to see you leave. When I looked down at my notebook and I looked at the different presentations and saw your name, I immediately looked up and, you know, where is she? I thought it was your birthday. I thought we were celebrating your birthday today, because there's no way that you were retiring. Lloyd, thank you so much. Thank you for all the help that you've given to me and all the offices over the years. You've been someone that we always knew that we can turn to when we needed help. It was always nice having you proofread our certs, making sure that we weren't making those mistakes, and just, you know, really, you know, being a friend and accepting my apologies throughout the years. Thank you, Lloyd. We're going to miss you here in the city of Los Angeles.
Thank you, Council Member.
Councilmember Hutt.
Lloyd, I'm new, you remember? And I was running, calling, and I just appreciate all the time and energy you poured into me for helping me get the job done right. And you'll be missed. I'm sure other members that are new who could really have benefited for everything that you had to offer to help me get things right. But I'm sure that in your retirement, you'll be available. No, just kidding. Enjoy your retirement, and thank you so much.
Thank you, Councilmember Rodriguez.
Thank you, Loida. Congratulations on this well-earned retirement. I know Albert is not happy, and you know, but none of us are. You have been so instrumental to so much of what we do here, and one of the unsung heroes that make so many people's lives feel special and recognized. Because of what you do. So I just want to say congratulations on this well-earned retirement. It's really, you know, so many of the special things that we're able to do in this city come as a result of the folks that don't often get recognized. You're among them. And I just want to say thank you so much for all of your years of service, for all the work that, thank you for holding John Lee accountable, whether he was a chief of staff or a council member. Follow the dang rules. No, honestly, just, you know, it's, there's a lot of history. There's a lot of beautiful history in this building that people can't even begin to understand, but you're very much a part of that. And so to that, I just want to say thank you so much for all of your years of service. We appreciate you.
Councilmember Hernandez.
Thank you, Council President. Lloyd, I just want to say thank you so much to you and your team for everything you do, for your years of dedication. And just to echo what Councilmember Rodriguez said, is that you all help us do our job better. I can't tell you how many times people have cried when they received a certificate from the City of Los Angeles. And so it means a lot to people, the work that you do. And so just thank you for helping us recognize people in our communities. And I'm grateful that we get to recognize you here and for your decades of service. Thank you so much.
Mr. Price.
Thank you, Louita. Again, on behalf of a grateful city, congratulations.
Thank you so much and congratulations. Another big round of applause is in order here. All right, and with that, we're now moving on to public comment. Please note today's meeting includes a call-in option for public comment. Public comment will be taken both in person in the council chamber and also via teleconference. Mr. Clerk, would you please read out the call-in information that was also provided in the agenda?
Thank you, Mr. President. As indicated on the agenda, members of the public wishing to offer public comment should call 669-254-5252 and use meeting ID number 160-535-8466 and then press pound. Then press pound again when prompted for a participant ID. Once admitted into the meeting, press star 9 to request to speak. When it is your turn to speak, an automated Zoom voice will ask you to press star 6 to unmute. Let me repeat, call 669-254-5252 and use meeting ID number 160-535-8466 and then press pound. Then press pound again when prompted for a participant ID. Once admitted into the meeting, press star 9 to request to speak. When it is your turn to speak, an automated Zoom voice will ask you to press star 6 to unmute.
To people providing public comment, when it is your turn to speak, either at the podium or on the phone, please state which of the agenda items you would like to speak to. You will have 1 minute per item, up to 3 minutes total, for the items open for public comment. We will tell you when your time is up. When speaking on the agenda items, you must be on topic. Our goal is to get through as many speakers as we can. If you are not on topic, or if we cannot tell whether you are on topic, you will get one brief warning from me or the president. At that point, you need to get immediately and clearly on topic. If you do not do so, or if you again stray off topic, you will forfeit the rest of your speaking time and we will move on to the next speaker. The items open for public comment are item number 1, items 14 through 24, and items 25 and 26. So again, let me repeat. The items that are open for public comment are item number 1, items 14 through 24, and items 25 and 26. Members of the public may also speak for up to 1 minute for general public comment. During general public comment, members of the public may speak to any of the other items or anything else in the city's subject matter jurisdiction. For members of the public calling in, when it is your turn to speak, an automated message from Zoom will prompt you to press star 6 to unmute yourself. If you do not do so, council staff will prompt you once more. At that point, you need to immediately unmute yourself, or unfortunately, you will forfeit your speaking time and we will have to move on to the next caller. Finally, because of a brief time delay between the live meeting and the broadcast, 2 things are important. First, while waiting for your turn to speak, please keep an ear to the phone so you know in real time when it is your turn to press star 6 to unmute. Second, if you're listening to this meeting on another device, please turn down the volume on that device immediately when it is your turn to speak. Between feedback and the time delay, it will cause a great deal of confusion if you continue to listen on your other devices.
All right, so we are now ready for our first set of callers. Your name will be called. You can line up on the side of the auditorium, and you can come up in any order. Just state your name and the items you wish to speak on.
Sally Leslie, Stacy Segarra Bollinger, Public, Arnold Sachs, Candido, Encore Patel, Eddie Navarrete, Patrick McOsker.
Good morning. Which items would you like to speak to?
Just public comment. Thank you very much.
So you have 1 minute for general public comment.
Thank you very much. Today I was at the neighborhood committee enrichment today, and I just want to say, Ulysses, you ran a very good meeting. And this is coming from a Republican conservative. You actually ran a very good meeting, and you asked some very poignant questions. I appreciate that, believe it or not. But one thing, unfortunately, that certain people, the mayor's office potentially, is keeping this council ignorant is the allowing of convicted registered sex offenders on neighborhood councils. Next Wednesday is my 6th person I have to go to their criminal proceeding to have them removed from the neighborhood council because they're a convicted registered sex offender. I wish you, Ms. Hernandez, you would address why Dunn is allowing convicted sex offenders.
Speaker, please do not yell into the microphone.
Don't yell into the microphone. You can injure the people who are doing translations. To everybody speaking, please do not yell into the microphone. It is not a matter of expression. It's a matter of the safety and health of the folks doing translation.
Good morning. Which items would you like to speak to?
All items, please, and general public comment.
Okay, so you have 3 minutes for the items and 1 minute for general public comment. Please begin with the items.
Great, thank you. Oh, bye, Tracy. So we have some stars for the Hollywood Walk of Fame. We have Dave Chappelle, Chris Hemsworth. I don't think either of those people are really worth giving a star to, but it doesn't really matter whose name is on the star because there's going to be shit on it eventually because there's nowhere to use the bathroom on Hollywood Boulevard. We also have an extension of a temporary closure of 121st Street between Figueroa and Hoover for the reasons of public safety. That's a pretty big stretch of street. All this motion does is say we need to close it to keep people safe, but then it doesn't outline any course of action about reopening it, what measures are being taken to make it safe, what the actual safety issues are. It just says we need to shut this down to keep it safe, and that is so vague. And I know that neighborhood councils, they don't get away with having such vague language in their motions. It's not raining out, but we still have an emergency order for rain. I don't know what that's about. We also have a lot of REAP motions. Okay, so let's talk about REAP. So first of all, let me say what it stands for: Rent Escrow Account Program. Okay, so when your landlord lets roaches crawl over your floor, won't replace your broken refrigerator, the heat is not working at night, you're so cold. The problem with REAP is that all the landlord has to do is give you what you paid for, then they get all their money. They don't pay penalties for renters. Tell me, how could that be sweet? What we need from REAP is a mandated break from rent to benefit the tenant and encourage the landlord's diligence in fulfilling their part of the contract. Lots of REAP. That's lots of REAP. And normally when I break a contract, the other person doesn't have to hold up their end of the bargain, but for renters, that's not how it works. We had some other motions today. We had a lien, an abatement and lien. So first we say abate, then we lien. And these are like standard regular motions that we see a lot on the agenda, right? But then it begs the question, why aren't we doing more to prevent the scenarios that give us this busy work in the first place? So we have on item 1 here, protests, appeals for, that's the abatement. Again, first we say abate, then we lien. The abatements and the liens, they're just never ending. I don't know, maybe the city is just not doing the best it can here. So I'll go ahead and move on to general public comment.
Okay.
Hugo and Ulysses have lots to say to the DSA. But then in meetings, when they cast their vote, a few things to note. They usually go with the consensus of this corrupt body and approve funding for police and landlords, or things like big rewards for snitches. How could that be socialist? I forgot to mention it, yeah, the DSA is bullshit. They're a psyop, they're a scheme for campaign money laundering. The candidates they support uphold the status quo. They don't want to give us housing. They don't want to fund the schools. All they want is a good career. The DSA is bullshit. Missed you on Sunday, Ulysses. Shout out to Smoke and Scan. Be nice to Candido, though, because he's a good guy.
Good morning. If you could please remind us of the name you signed up under and the items you would like to speak to.
Patrick McCosker, speaking on general public comment.
Okay, so you have 1 minute.
I want to just start by thanking the Neighborhoods Committee for this morning taking up the issue of access, fair, affordable access for everybody to the city's golf courses, and especially thanks for amending it to address the same for high school golfers, golf teams. Appreciate that very much. And thank you all for, owning golf courses. As you take up the budget, I hope you will consider the issue of high school golf access and costs and fees so that you can, count on what it'll cost, and we can count on what it'll cost as well. I want to tell you that I think that the policy could be better, but more importantly, thanks for giving us access to your golf courses, and thanks for owning them. Golf courses, whoever invented municipal golf deserves a Nobel Prize, in my opinion. For those of you that think of golf as an elitist sport for the rich and pampered, I don't blame you, because for the first 100 years in this country, it certainly was. And then somebody maybe sitting around this horseshoe thought, why don't we build golf courses that everyone can afford to play? And thanks to that, we can have high school golf teams out there getting the benefit from your courses. So thank you guys very much. I hope you'll continue to support that.
Next speaker.
The final speaker is no, I won't sign up.
Good morning.
Good morning. Which items would you like to speak to?
All items and public comment, please.
Okay, so you have 3 minutes for the items and 1 minute for general public comment.
Thank you, sir.
Please begin with the items.
Thank you. In regards to the stars on Hollywood Boulevard, some of the stars don't really deserve them. But what I think about is when you're coming into Hollywood now, because my family used to own hotels in Hollywood back in the 70s and 80s, and I thought about, it was rough back then, but today, as I drive in from the valley, all that graffiti that's along the way there, just graffiti on the bridges, if we could clean up that along with cleaning up the boulevard, someone who's very special, Mr. Frankie Valli, who I had the opportunity to meet and work with in Las Vegas, deserves that star. I don't know why it took so long for him to get the recognition, but that is one gentleman who really, really deserves that star. Let me just move on to public comments, sir. May I?
General public comment. You have 1 minute.
Thank you. Since 2020, I've come before this council to talk about what's happening on Reseda Boulevard. This Sunday, a gentleman in a Tesla was going approximately 140 miles, flew through E.T. Park. Thank God there was a big tree that stopped him. He died. He caught the tree on fire. But a new family had just moved into the house that was above there. And had that tree not been there, we would have probably had 3 kids and 2 parents killed because of that impact. How many times do I have to come before this council and ask you to reverse the previous council and some of the members that are here today, what they ruled on as far as that parking after 6 p.m.? You have to take that back and restrict parking in some of these areas. We are going to have such a tragedy one day in this area, and all you have to do is change it. You could save a life. So please take a look at that and make Los Angeles safer. Thank you, Mr. President.
Good morning. If you could please remind us of the name you signed up under and the items you would like to speak to.
My name is Ankur Patel. I'll speak on the 16 items
that are open for public comment today and take 1 minute for general comment.
Okay, so you have 3 minutes for the items and 1 minute for general public comment. Please begin with the items.
So just generally, it's wonderful to be able to speak on everything from liens on property that the city does, like on item number 1 in District 4. It's also nice to be able to click through, see that information, connect it to budget, see how much money is going which way. Item number 4 is again in that same, it's actually about Senate Bill 915, the autonomous vehicle.
Speaker, item number 4 is not open for public comment. So
it's marked special.
The items that are open for public comment are items 1, items 14 through 24, and 25 and 26. So you can use your time
Okay, so
on
number
those
14.
items.
This is about the declaration of local emergency by the mayor dated February 5th regarding the existence of a local emergency as the city of Los Angeles continues to experience extreme conditions caused by rainstorms pursuant to a previous order. So rainstorms are a serious problem in Los Angeles. The LA River, we concretize that. There's so many different projects that the city has undergone to restore the ecosystem, right? Instead of flash floods that can be dangerous, and every year we have a kid who falls too close to the LA River and disappears. But it is also an opportunity, and that's what this item is about. And again, the bigger, broader idea of using our opportunity here to input and talk about what's going on at City Council, being able to click a link, seeing what is being done, see the report. And some of these items, you can actually see the report. Most of these you can't. That's the continuing message that I want to talk about when we talk about items open for public comment, because people come in here and have no idea what's going on in the agenda. They try to connect to the people with maybe a song to talk about a particular item,
You're welcome
like
to speak
item
to
number
this during
20.
general public comment?
No,
Okay.
You took up 1 minute of my time trying to explain the rules that I understood. I get
So,
one more
again,
item. I get one more
stick
minute
to the
on item
item.
number 20. 1 more minute on item number 20, then 1 more minute on general public comment. So I get 2 more
Your
minutes.
Continue.
So item number 20 is relative to that closure on 121st Street. We already heard about it. There actually is a reason described in page 6 of a attached document. So again, I've looked through these documents when I come here and say, what is available? There's a little paragraph from the police officer over there that says there's prostitution going on there. There's violence, there's burglaries. But if you're just clicking around, you can't just see that information easily. So that stretch of land, property that's going to be closed for an extended period of time, and all these documents, all they do is kick the can down the road. As somebody else said, there's no actual solution in here other than to keep that property closed because of, if you look into it, these kinds of things. So on general public comment, I'd like to take my minute to talk about the Charter Reform Commission. Again, the way that the public interacts with the city of Los Angeles could be better. Let's talk aspirational. What could we do? And that's what this charter reform could do. We're going to pick up the number of city council districts. That's a hot topic. I hope you talk about public comment. I hope you pick up ranked choice voting instead of a primary and a runoff that costs so much money, extends the period, it gives more opportunity for corruption and problems and using your offices to campaign. But still, I believe in democracy. I like elections. I think I come here because I have faith in the power of the podium, of the people, to come here and talk some truth, engage with the city council members, and if it is a democracy, then in the campaign process, put some good ideas out there to solve these problems that are ranging from, you could name it, but that's only a minute. You can follow me at Vote Patel on Twitter.
Good morning. Which items would you like to speak to?
Good morning. I'd like to speak on 1, 14, 19, and 24 in public comment.
Okay, so you have 3 minutes for the items and 1 minute for general public comment. Please begin with the items.
Okay, item number 1 again refers to this REAP bullshit. So I'm advising people to take the dash bus that runs along First Street, heads west, goes down to Figueroa, makes a right, goes about 3 blocks, makes a left, get off at that stop, go back around the corner, go up the stairs. That's the building that has the REAP offices in it. Go up the stairs, go to the 11th floor. Bring your paperwork with you. Get any paperwork they offer you. You have an administrative code and you have a municipal code. You'll get charged with both violations. You have to go there and get information from them. It's the only place. They've done away with REAP hearings. They used to have REAP hearings, but they don't do that anymore because they're privatizing the government here. Ever since the new normal, and somebody came in and shot somebody's son who was on the negotiating committee for the union labor. But that's a different story. So now, 19, is it recycle or recycle? It's another grant. Grants are for 20 years. There's so much crap all around the city, it's impossible. You need to wear waders up to your asshole because of all the shit all around. Number 14 refers to a local emergency for, what was it for? Rain. So the county, back in, January 12th of 2016, refers to a storm-related damage. So what is the county doing that the city isn't doing? You're pulling each other in each direction. It's the biggest scam in America. This is the most corrupt county in the whole country, in the whole freaking world. You have a metro board, you have a city council, and you have a county board. But metro supersedes everything. It's its own private government. It's so fucked up. Now, number 24 refers to Outdoors for All Act. Is that a local act? Is that a federal law, like the Affordable Care Act that was signed into law by President Barack Obama, which would have guaranteed affordable care for all low-income people? But the guy who got involved with the contract with the county said, fuck it. I'm going to steal that money, $660 million, went out and built the stadium in Englewood and said, fuck you.
General public comment?
General public comment is about we need more equality, not equity. And this discussion about neighborhoods of color. Are they black? Are they brown? I've got coverage right here. This logo is for public health. That's a white logo. But on this paper, that's a black logo. What about a brown logo? Where's the brown community at? There is no brown logo. What about Oriental people? What about Asians? What about Koreans? Who settles in this county? What about Jewish people? Why are Jewish people being excluded? What about Christians? I heard about the City of Angels. If you walk down the street at 8th and Hope, you'll see a sign that says you're living in a city of angels, but they put a top on the L. So how can it be an angel if it's a top on top of the L? And on the bottom, that's not an L.
Speaker, your time has expired. Next speaker. Mr. Sachs, we need you to vacate the podium so we can move on to our final speaker. And Mr. President, I've been told that there are no one else has signed up after this for in-person, so after the speaker, it looks like we've exhausted public comment in the chambers. Good morning. Which items would you like to speak to?
Yes, Pumpkinhead. All the motherfucking items and general fucking comment.
Okay, so you have 3 minutes for the items and 1 minute for general public comment. Please begin with the items.
Yes, and we have number one. Why, that dirty little cunt Nithya ramen noodle on number one. 22,000 goddamn fucking dollars for a cleanup? Oh, she's not here today. Good, stay home in shame. No, she's hiding from the union members. Of course. Then we have number fucking 14. We have a goddamn emergency. At UCLA we have an emergency. But this is about water. There's no goddamn water emergency. Fuck number 14. About 15. 15? That's the CD10? The unelected Heather Hutt? She shouldn't be voting on this. I say no to this. And then the indicted one on number 16, yes. Excellent job. And then, of course, Pat McOsker, that now we know there is a Tim McOsker, on number 17. I don't know which McOsker, but we will support it. And then number 18, the indicted one, makes a return. And a REAP. Excellent job. We support it. And then recycle, or is it recycla? I don't recycle anything. I just take it and I give it to Eunice, and I think she throws it in the garbage, and then it goes into the ocean to be eaten by whales. Then we have Figueroa and Hoover Street. Yes, Pat McOsker, known as Tim, knows that's a fucking dangerous gang shithole, and he wants to clean it up and close it for an 18-month additional period. I will make a friendly amendment. Well, let's extend it to 50 years. Oh, okay. That's right. Good. He's cleaning up the mess left after Janice Hahn and the late Mike Bonin. Then we have Dave Chappelle on item 21. He did a beautiful thing, bringing us the attention of the KKK. And don't forget Marchese's favorite skit, the racial draft. Remember that? Yeah, that's right. The Wu-Tang crew was adopted by the blacks. Or was it the Asians? Yes. Perfect. A racist comedian being honored on a star. I fully support it. Then we got Frankie Valli, the guy that sings like a little queer. And of course we support it because, as Hugo knows, Hollywood is filled with queers. No steers, just queers. And then we have Chris Hemsworth. Who the fuck is that? What the hell did he do? He's not in prison. Oh, okay, then we don't support it. Only racists and felons we support on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. The rest of you can go fuck yourselves. And now
General
we have
public
the
comment?
general comment. Yes, 50 Guns, known as Candido, talked to me about John Lee. And we were a little hard on the other day, so we just want to take a step back and note that John Lee's not that bad of a guy, so we just want to make a partial apology. You're not as bad as Donald Trump, and you're not as bad as Curran Price. Why? I don't know why, but thank you for noting that. We will now separate, and the critics note that. Okay, I'm noting this. Separate Staffer B. John Lee from the Donald Trump Curran Price bucket. Chuck. Yes, very good. It's a substantial upgrade. And finally, how come we're missing the two Jewish community members here? Passover was over, and Passover is a devil holiday. Now you may return to work. Finally, thank you to UCLA and the Palestinian protesters. Fuck the Jewish students at UCLA.
Speaker, your time has expired. And again, so it looks like we've exhausted public comment. Mr. Sachs, this is your first and only warning. Please do not disrupt this meeting. We need to move on to public comment on the phones.
Now we have two people disrupting the meeting. All right, we'll go to phones now for 15 minutes.
Caller ending in 9519, please press *6 to unmute.
Yes, this is Jason, and I'm a smoker scan viewer.
Good morning. I'm going to ask if you can lower your voice just a little bit, and which items would you like to speak to?
My bad there, pumpkin head. What items are available?
I'm sorry, could you repeat that one more time?
All available items and general public comment.
So you have 3 minutes for the items. That's items number 1, 14 through 24, and 25 and 26, and 1 minute for general public comment.
well.
Please begin with the items.
That's mighty, sir. Thank you. What's up to the smoke scan community, first of all, there? I was, hey, girl, I'm down here on Figueroa, and I'm trying to get one of these hoes, let me use their mouth like a shooting range. So I was wondering if you could let me borrow $20 or something there, brother. Just off the rip there. if you got it there. If not, I don't know. Maybe she'll take an IOU, but I'm still gonna need that $20 there. Shout out to the goat puppet in the house, doing things, putting it down.
Speaker, I
for us.
can't tell which item you're speaking to, and a shout out to the goat puppet is not on the agenda. So please identify the item you're speaking to, or I'm going to move you to general public comment.
Well, how about Mr. I can't give a shout out to the goat puppet today. He's doing big
So
things.
I've asked you to identify the items. I'm going to move you to general public comment. So you have 1 minute for general public comment.
Do your thing there, brother. All right, anyway, as I was saying, shout out to the smoker can community. Damon, you're doing big things, you know. Thanks. I'm glad you got something in the belly there. Maybe you'll leave you alone there. But we're having a good show. And last night we did a long one there. My man is don't let struggle today, so you got to bear with him there. But we had a good show last night. You know, watching, you know, people tear up shit over there. And, you know, I guess UCLA, wherever the hell he was at. I hung in there for a little bit, but I had to go to bed on you today, man. I can't be up all day, man. I got shit to do, brother. But shout out to Candido, you know, the great pander, aka 50 Guns, PK 50 Guns, you know, shout out to Stacy, you know, big thing. And I guess y'all have a good one there.
Okay, next caller.
Caller ending in 7255, please press star 6 to unmute. Caller ending in 7255, please press star 6 to unmute.
So caller ending in the last 4 digits 7255. This is your last opportunity to speak. Please press star 6. Yep, we can hear you. So good afternoon, or sorry, good morning. Which items would you like to speak to?
Yeah, still morning, 11:30. Yeah, all items in public comment, please.
Okay, so you have 3 minutes for the items and 1 minute for general public comment. Please begin with the items.
Being May Day, first let me recognize Hugo Soto Martinez and Marquise Dawson for standing with the unions, being arrested on their causes. That's what a council person does, represent his people. Second, number 2, the Scarlet Letter. People getting elected by any people that are lobbyists should wear a Scarlet Letter. That way they know who's represented them, who paid them, and who they owe those favors to. Number 5.
So, Speaker,
does anyone
item
here
number
other than
5 is
I?
not open for public comment. So the items that are open for public comment are 1, 14 through 24, and 25 and 26. So you're welcome to speak to those items, or you can speak to the other items during general.
Okay, 1, 14, 15, 18 are all REAP items. You guys called quorum, a city attorney, and you counted out 10 people. Yet your first vote showed with Price recusing himself as 11-0. How do you get an 11 count vote with 10 people in a quorum, as you counted out at the beginning of the meeting? Sorry for paying attention, but someone has to, since city council people don't. You counted out 10 people for quorum, and then you voted out 11-0 on your first vote. Those are REAP items. Paul Corcoran is a landlord. He should not be voting on anything doing with rent control or anything doing with landlords. So I'm sorry for paying attention, but are you guys going to go back and change what you guys do and then be called out on Los Angeles Times that you did it and lied to in court? This is getting ridiculous here that no one's paying attention to what you guys do, and you guys don't pay attention to the people. Let me go to public comment.
Okay, you have 1 minute for general public comment.
Monica Rodriguez, yesterday on number 21, you said good intentions is a tool of gentrification. Like the historic communities should not be displaced for backing up Ms. Hernandez. But yet you're going to put the light rail in Pacoima doing exactly, you know, a serpent has a split tongue. Why do you do this? You want to sound good? Be good. You're going to displace Pacoima in your district. And everything you said to back up Ms. Hernandez about displacing the historical area you represent, Ms. Hernandez, with that light rail, you could care less, right? Because your intentions were good. Someone's good idea is going to displace that small community. We get together once a time for Cinco de Mayo, that won't be there no more. Panorama City, again, having that fair in the middle of Van Nuys Boulevard, that won't be there no more. It's okay.
Next caller.
Caller ending in 4208, please press star 6 to unmute.
Rob Kwan, I'd like to speak on all items and general public comment.
Okay, so you have 3 minutes for the items and 1 minute for general public comment. Please begin with the items.
Yeah, I would just want to echo Stacy's concerns. Like, why are we still declaring a local emergency regarding rain in February? Like, we get shit on for taking rain too seriously in LA and freaking out, and we got a state of emergency from a storm in February? Move to my general public comment. Just absolutely
you have 1
absurd to see you guys praising May Day. At the same time, Bob just so happens to schedule the only public comment at a budget hearing the exact time that people are really heading to Hollywood for that protest. It really didn't make sense to me at first because it was like, y'all usually want to speak at these things. What's the issue? And then I realized I saw the graphic showing that they were calling out genocide, and that's a step too far for Bob. I would be surprised if he scheduled it intentionally just as a fuck you. What happened at UCLA last night is absurd and disappointing to see a lack of leadership from the council member, both sidesiness. You can't identify whose safety is being threatened by who, despite fireworks, bear mace, lasers being deployed. Mere possession of those things is banned by law, but we don't apply that to right-wingers, only lefties. Someone could get shot in cold blood, and you motherfuckers would describe that as a flash. We had a thank you to the mayor and LAPD. LAPD sat around with their hands on their asses for like 4 hours.
Okay. Speaker, your time has expired. Next caller.
Call in user 2, please press star 6 to unmute.
What's up, nerds and virgins? Smoking Scan, Brock and
Good morning.
Landers,
Which
Los
items
Angeles
would you like to
private
speak to?
investigator. All open items and general public comment, please.
Okay, so you have 3 minutes for the items and 1 minute for general public comment. Please begin with the items.
All right. 14, this council and mayor need to stop using emergencies to govern, to try to get past budgeting. With the way homeless has been mishandled, with the $24 billion that can't be accounted for, how much of that money did L period A period get? Between homelessness and this rain, obviously this administration can't handle regular day-to-day operations, let alone emergencies. So maybe they should just step down and let Smoke and Scan step up and do it, because we could do a better job collectively. 20, I'm against this closure of Figueroa. Jason, a Smoke and Scan viewer, spends a lot of time on Figueroa, and he, donates money to a lot of businesses up on Figueroa. And I don't think he would appreciate that he's, not having that ability to do that if it's closed. And haven't we learned that closing things for public safety doesn't always have the best outcome for businesses? 21. It's about time you brought back Dave Chappelle. Half Baked was a great movie. It taught us all the best way to quit a job. Very disappointed to see that all the white people that got stars while you guys delayed Dave Chappelle's for like a month or whatever. Frankie Valli I can't speak to if he sounds a little girly, I guess, too bad for him. And, I enjoyed the Thor movie, so why not give Mr. Hemsworth a star? General public comment.
Okay, you have 1 minute.
To the people like Mr. Serrano saying that I sound like a sexual predator. Just like Donny Osmond, I'm a soldier of love, and I'm packing a love gun. I'm not a predator. And to all the female Palestine protesters, I offer you some support from an unlikely place. From the river to the sea, I will lick you where you pee. Pro-Hamas terrorists won't much that box. To them, your period blood is worse than locks. Brock Landers will treat you right. You can give him another set of red wings and he won't even wipe. From the river to the sea, Randy with an eye, I will lick you where you pee.
So, Mr. Candido, please do not interrupt this meeting. This is your first and only formal warning. Next caller.
Caller ending in 9204, please press star 6 to unmute.
I'll just speak to public comment. My name's Adam Smith.
Okay, so you have 1 minute.
Yeah, I'm sorry I don't have a song this morning. I'm glad there was a presentation on May Day, and think that if council members are going to celebrate May Day, they must really lift up the internationalist history of the day and what that means today, particularly. And one thing that means today is recognizing the working people in Palestine being absolutely decimated by American-made weapons, some that are manufactured and supplied from our city and port, and the decades of U.S.-backed settler colonial violence that has been ongoing in Palestine. That means recognizing how students in this city standing up against the genocide in Palestine that so few of you have even said anything about, like the students at UCLA last night, are being violently targeted for speaking out against the institutional complicity in the genocide being perpetuated by Zionist forces in Palestine. And to that point, anyone who's talking about International Workers' Day today in LA should be talking about the ways in which U.S. domestic police agencies, particularly the LAPD that was sent in to target anti-genocide USC students last week, share tactics and technologies with those same forces in Israel and use our communities from
Caller, your time has
to
expired. Next caller.
Caller ending in 2616, please press star 6 to unmute.
Thank you. It's Eric Previn, and I'd like to speak on the available items and also a general public comment.
So you have 3 minutes for the items and 1 minute for general public comment. Please begin with the items.
Well, is that an option? I'd like to speak on the general public comment first. Is that an option?
No, please start with the items first, and then you can move to general public comment.
All right. Okay. Fair enough, Grote. I'm not going to quibble with the quibbler. We're going to declare a local emergency. Apparently, we declared yet another one. But this one has to be about the horrible corruption, because Bloomingfield is going to try to make for the exit, but the emergency on item 14 is going to prevent that, because having 60 seconds on a massive budget, which is a dramatic reduction on the public comment that's been offered previously, is simply an affront to open government and the right of the people to oversee the instruments. And by instruments, I mean tools, in the case of Mr. Krikorian, Mr. Harris Dawson, and Blob Liebenfeld. I want to thank Pat McCosker for identifying that municipal golf is so important, and shame Nithya Raman and Paul Krikorian about their abnegation of their professional responsibility about Weddington, which is the beloved part of Studio City, the heart, the lungs of Studio City, that are being destroyed by an imperious bunch of aristocrat billionaires who don't give a shit about the people of Studio City, as they constantly prevaricate and lie about what's available for the people given this horrible project that they've put forward. I want to thank Chappelle and Hemsworth for coming out for their Walk of Fame stars, and echo what Cigar Bollinger said, which is good luck finding a place to crack a leak. And, you know, this is not, Mr. Soto Martinez, I direct this to you because I know that you also appreciate cracking a leak after several margaritas, but buddy, we can't have a system or an urban public space without restrooms. I know Don Knabe and all the badass right-wingers made everyone believe, including Krikorian, that bathrooms are the enemy of the people because they prevent, you know, they encourage bad things. Also, in item number 11, when you make a note about AB...
Speaker, item number 11 is not open for public comment, so you can speak to it during general, but please stick to the items for now.
Right, that's the one about the... Okay, fine, that's the one about the Ralph M. Brown Act. Fine, I'll go back to the ones that I can speak on, like the government ethics ordinance on number 2. Here you have Paul Krikorian.
Speaker, item number...
1,600 something days. What's that? Sorry, Grote? Is 2 not available?
Item number 2 is not open for public comment, so please stick to the items that are open, or I can move you to general public comment if you'd like.
Okay, so the one about government transparency has been whisked off to the back room. Okay, fine. Yeah, let's go to the general public comment, because I don't want the people to have to wait. I want as many people to get in as possible. So here's my general public comment. You ready? The whole idea of denying virtual, thank you. The whole idea of denying virtual comment at committee meetings is on the table. Okay, that is as corrupt gets. And you can serve it on a nice little papyrus right over to Paul Kerkorian, who has served up to the people of Los Angeles the biggest insult in 25 years of relative improvements to the way people can participate. He has set us back. He makes Herb Wesson look like Mr. Clean. Okay, this is very, very bad. We need to open immediately the right for people to give comments on these agendas, and including the budget, which is more than one item, Blumenfield. Don't be stupid. Really, it makes you look so bad to defend these draconian, and we're not stupid. It looks like Kerkorian was the one who gave so much, and now Bob's the bad guy. It's all the same horrible trajectory away from public input.
Hello, your time has expired.
All right, I believe that concludes public comment both in chambers and telephonically. What is available for the council to consider at this time?
Mr. President, the council may now vote on items 14 through 24.
All right, items 14 through 24, those items are now before us. Let's open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
11 ayes.
All right, what's next?
Mr. President, the council may now consider item 1. Please note there is a recommendation from the Los Angeles Department of Building and Safety to receive and file the lien. A motion is required for this item.
All right, I'll move that we receive and file this. Is there a second? Councilmember Park, seconds. So it's been moved and seconded. That item is now before us. Let's open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
12 ayes.
All right, what's next?
Mr. President, the council may now consider item 4, called special by Councilmember Soto Martinez for comments.
Excellent. Councilmember Soto Martinez.
Thank you so much, Council President. And so I want to sort of give a little explanation to this vote. This is about supporting the resolution about Senate Bill 915, which is about giving Angelenos say in how we regulate this new automated technology. Because I believe that our city should not be the test subject for the tech industry. As elected officials around this horseshoe, we are the ones that are responsible for keeping our constituents safe and making different decisions about planning and land use and how many things operate in the city. The CPUC is an unelected statewide body without any local context, and they should not be making policy for the city of Los Angeles. This common sense legislation will keep California roads safe and put power back into local communities. Because of that, and because of the widespread support this effort has been from California elected leaders at the state office, from labor unions and community organizations, I ask for your aye vote, and thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Soto Martinez. All right, this item is now before us. Let's open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
12 ayes.
All right, what is next?
Mr. President, the council may now proceed to closed session for items 25 and 26.
All right. Let's, sergeants, let's prepare the room for closed session.
Now, in the coming years, we know that we will face challenging times. This budget continues our momentum toward change by prioritizing city services, core city services, but using this as an opportunity as a reset.
Every day, over 100 Americans die from secondhand smoke. Secondhand smoke in children can cause asthma, ear infections, and increased risk of sudden infant death syndrome. Go to smokefreehomesla.com. Learn how you can protect your home from secondhand smoke.
Mayor Karen Bass announced that the city will provide resources to support workers who are going to be impacted by the closure of 99-cents only stores in LA. The commerce-based chain announced it would close all 371 of its stores, which operate across 4 states with 30 locations within the city of LA. In response to the closures, the Economic and Workforce Development Department, EWDD, has already activated its Rapid Response Team. The Rapid Response Team will share resources with 99-cents only city store employees and will coordinate with LA County so all employees get support. In addition, EWDD will offer daily virtual presentations to help workers access available resources. For more information, go to ewdd.lacity.gov. The Department of Cultural Affairs, DCA, is accepting applications from poets, spoken word artists, and/or songwriters to take part in a cultural Olympiad program. Candidates should have recent works, published or unpublished, that address sports, cultural inclusion, and/or shared values between France and the U.S. 48 artists representing the best writers from LA will be offered a commission to create a new work on the theme of art and sport. 7 selected writers will then travel to Paris for public activities, culminating in a performance of their best work, which will also be live streamed to LA. DCA's Paris 2024 Cultural Olympiad Sport and Poetry program requests online applications with a resume and work samples by Thursday, May 9th, 2024. For more information, visit culture.lacity.gov. The Port of Los Angeles is now accepting applications for their Community Grants program. The grants are provided by the Harbor Revenue Fund, which is self-supported from shipping and lease revenue without taxpayer money. Some programs funded via the grants include art walks, holiday celebrations, educational programs, and at-risk youth events. Grant categories are divided into general grants under $100,000 and large grants over $100,000, with applications due by May 6, 2024. Last year, 37 local nonprofits received $1.5 million in funding under the grant program, including the Boys and Girls Club and the LA Maritime Institute. For more information on how to apply, click the Grants tab at portoflosangeles.org/community.
The number one cause of preventable death after injury is bleeding. Someone who is severely bleeding can bleed to death in as little as 5 minutes. Minutes count, and your LAFD thanks you for learning how to stop the bleed by following the ABCs. If someone has an injury with blood spurting out of the wound, clothing soaked in blood, bleeding that won't stop, or loss of any part of an arm or leg, you need to act quickly. The first step is A for alert. Have someone call 911. The next step is B for bleeding. Locate the bleeding injury and remove any clothing covering the area so you can see the injury. The final step is C, compress. If the injury is to the leg or arm, prepare to use the tourniquet. Unwrap the tourniquet and apply it 2 to 3 inches above the wound. Do not place the tourniquet onto a joint. Go above the joint if necessary. Pull the free end of the tourniquet and wrap it until it is tight. Wind the windlass until the bleeding stops. Secure the windlass in place. Note the time the tourniquet was applied and write it down, if you can, or tell first responders when they arrive.
your Los Angeles City Council.
Here's what's happening in LA this week.
This is LA Currents.
I call on our city to not just dream of the LA we want, but to participate in making the dream come true. Now, in the coming years, we know that we will face challenging times. This budget continues our momentum toward change by prioritizing city services, core city services, but using this as an opportunity as a reset.
Every day, over 100 Americans die from secondhand smoke. Secondhand smoke in children can cause asthma, ear infections, and increased risk of sudden infant death syndrome. Go to smokefreehomesla.com. Learn how you can protect your home from secondhand smoke.
Mayor Karen Bass announced that the city will provide resources to support workers who are going to be impacted by the closure of 99-cents only stores in LA. The commerce-based chain announced it would close all 371 of its stores, which operate across 4 states with 30 locations within the city of LA. In response to the closures, the Economic and Workforce Development Department, EWDD, has already activated its Rapid Response Team. The Rapid Response Team will share resources with 99-cents only city store employees and will coordinate with LA County so all employees get support. In addition, EWDD will offer daily virtual presentations to help workers access available resources. For more information, go to ewdd.lacity.gov. The Department of Cultural Affairs, DCA, is accepting applications from poets, spoken word artists, and/or songwriters to take part in a cultural Olympiad program. Candidates should have recent works, published or unpublished, that address sports, cultural inclusion, and/or shared values between France and the U.S. 48 artists representing the best writers from LA will be offered a commission to create a new work on the theme of art and sport. 7 selected writers will then travel to Paris for public activities, culminating in a performance of their best work, which will also be live streamed to LA. DCA's Paris 2024 Cultural Olympiad Sport and Poetry Program requests online applications with a resume and work samples by Thursday, May 9th, 2024. For more information, visit culture.lacity.gov. The Port of Los Angeles is now accepting applications for their Community Grants program. The grants are provided by the Harbor Revenue Fund, which is self-supported from shipping and lease revenue without taxpayer money. Some programs funded via the grants include art walks, holiday celebrations, educational programs, and at-risk youth events. Grant categories are divided into general grants under $100,000 and large grants over $100,000, with applications due by May 6, 2024. Last year, 37 local nonprofits received $1.5 million in funding under the grant program, including the Boys and Girls Club and the LA Maritime Institute. For more information on how to apply, click the Grants tab at portoflosangeles.org/community.
The number one cause of preventable death after injury is bleeding. Someone who is severely bleeding can bleed to death in as little as 5 minutes. Minutes count, and your LAFD thanks you for learning how to stop the bleed by following the ABCs. If someone has an injury with blood spurting out of the wound, clothing soaked in blood, bleeding that won't stop, or loss of any part of an arm or leg, you need to act quickly. The first step is A for alert. Have someone call 911. The next step is B for bleeding. Locate the bleeding injury and remove any clothing covering the area so you can see the injury. The final step is C, compress. If the injury is to the leg or arm, prepare to use the tourniquet. Unwrap the tourniquet and apply it 2 to 3 inches above the wound. Do not place the tourniquet onto a joint. Go above the joint if necessary. Pull the free end of the tourniquet and wrap it until it is tight. Wind the windlass until the bleeding stops. Secure the windlass in place. Note the time the tourniquet was applied and write it down, if you can, or tell first responders when they arrive.
Angeles City Council.
Here's what's happening in LA this week.
This is LA Currents.
I call on our city to not just dream of the LA we want, but to participate in making the dream come true. Now, in the coming years, we know that we will face challenging times. This budget continues our momentum toward change by prioritizing city services, core city services, but using this as an opportunity as a reset.
Every day, over 100 Americans die from secondhand smoke. Secondhand smoke in children can cause asthma, ear infections, and increased risk of sudden infant death syndrome. Go to smokefreehomesla.com. Learn how you can protect your home from secondhand smoke.
Mayor Karen Bass announced that the city will provide resources to support workers who are going to be impacted by the closure of 99-cents only stores in LA. The commerce-based chain announced it would close all 371 of its stores, which operate across 4 states with 30 locations within the city of LA. In response to the closures, the Economic and Workforce Development Department, EWDD, has already activated its Rapid Response Team. The Rapid Response Team will share resources with 99-cents only city store employees and will coordinate with LA County so all employees get support. In addition, EWDD will offer daily virtual presentations to help workers access available resources. For more information, go to ewdd.lacity.gov. The Department of Cultural Affairs, DCA, is accepting applications from poets, spoken word artists, and/or songwriters to take part in a cultural Olympiad program. Candidates should have recent works, published or unpublished, that address sports, cultural inclusion, and/or shared values between France and the U.S. 48 artists representing the best writers from LA will be offered a commission to create a new work on the theme of art and sport. 7 selected writers will then travel to Paris for public activities, culminating in a performance of their best work, which will also be live streamed to LA. DCA's Paris 2024 Cultural Olympiad Sport and Poetry program requests online applications with a resume and work samples by Thursday, May 9th, 2024. For more information, visit culture.lacity.gov. The Port of Los Angeles is now accepting applications for their Community Grants program. The grants are provided by the Harbor Revenue Fund, which is self-supported from shipping and lease revenue without taxpayer money. Some programs funded via the grants include art walks, holiday celebrations, educational programs, and at-risk youth events. Grant categories are divided into general grants under $100,000 and large grants over $100,000, with applications due by May 6, 2024. Last year, 37 local nonprofits received $1.5 million in funding under the grant program, including the Boys and Girls Club and the LA Maritime Institute. For more information on how to apply, click the Grants tab at portoflosangeles.org/community.
The number one cause of preventable death after injury is bleeding. Someone who is severely bleeding can bleed to death in as little as 5 minutes. Minutes count, and your LAFD thanks you for learning how to stop the bleed by following the ABCs. If someone has an injury with blood spurting out of the wound, clothing soaked in blood, bleeding that won't stop, or loss of any part of an arm or leg, you need to act quickly. The first step is A for alert. Have someone call 911. The next step is B for bleeding. Locate the bleeding injury and remove any clothing covering the area so you can see the injury. The final step is C, compress. If the injury is to the leg or arm, prepare to use the tourniquet. Unwrap the tourniquet and apply it 2 to 3 inches above the wound. Do not place the tourniquet onto a joint. Go above the joint if necessary. Pull the free end of the tourniquet and wrap it until it is tight. Wind the windlass until the bleeding stops. Secure the windlass in place. Note the time the tourniquet was applied and write it down, if you can, or tell first responders when they arrive.
Your Los Angeles City Council.
Here's what's happening in LA this week.
This is LA Currents.
I call on our city to not just dream of the LA we want, but to participate in making the dream come true.
All right. The council is now back in open session. Mr. Clerk, can you please call the roll?
Yes, Mr. President. Blumenfield, De Leon, Hairston, Hernandez, Hutt, Krikorian, Lee, McOsker, Padilla, Park, Price, Rahman, Rodriguez, Soto Martinez, Yaroslavsky, 12 members present and a quorum, Mr. President.
Very good. Thank you very much. Mr. City Attorney, is there anything to report from closed session?
Nothing to report, Mr. President.
Very good. For the record, Mr. Price is off the board and has left the chambers. We can now take up item number 5. Do any members wish to be heard on item number 5? Seeing none, let's go ahead and open the roll, close the roll, and tabulate the votes.
12 ayes.
Thank you. Mr. Clerk, what is next before us?
Mr. President, council has motions for posting and referral.
Without objection, posted and referred. Next.
The desk is clear, sir.
Any announcements, members? Members, are there any announcements? Councilmember Lee.
Thank you, Mr. President. Colleagues, I just want to bring to attention to the fact that today marks the beginning of Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month. And as one of the few AAPIs to ever hold a seat in the Los Angeles City Council, it's always an honor for me to bring attention to the city's observance and celebration of this Heritage Month. Like years past this year, Councilmember Rahman, Mayor Bass, Councilman De Leon and I are hosting a reception in the forecourt this coming Friday to celebrate the start of the month. There will be food, entertainment, and we'll be honoring numerous individuals who have worked to uplift the voices of the AAPI community throughout our city and our country. I know that everyone in this building is going to be busy dealing with the budget, but I encourage everyone to take a small break and join us for some free food and to celebrate the AAPI community. It starts at noon, and I hope to see all of you there. Happy AAPI Heritage Month to all of you.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Councilmember Blumenfield.
Speaking of small breaks, this is the time that the Budget Committee was supposed to start at 1 o'clock, but obviously the council meeting has gone to this to give all the folks who need to prepare for the Budget Committee time. That meeting will start at 1:30. So if you're here for the Budget Committee, it's not going to start until 1:30 as this council has to end and other things have to happen. So the announcement is budget at 1:30.
Very good. Thank you very much. Any other announcements, members? Announcements on my left, announcements on my right. Seeing none, do we have any motions for adjournment, members? Okay, Councilmember Lee has a motion for adjournment. If we could all please rise for adjourning motions.
Colleagues, it's with great sadness that I ask that we adjourn this meeting in honor of Dr. Mary Ovnick, a CD12 resident, a professor of history at California State University, Northridge. Mary was born on June 18, 1942 in San Fernando and was a proud lifetime resident of the city of Los Angeles. Her constant pursuit of knowledge led to outstanding academic accomplishments which spanned her entire life. In 1963, Mary received her Bachelor of Arts in History from the University of California, Los Angeles, and by the time she finished her degree at UCLA, she became a member of Phi Beta Kappa, the oldest and most respected academic honor society in the United States. She earned her Master's of Arts in History from Cal State Northridge in 1974. In 2000, she earned her PhD from UCLA. Mary channeled her love of history, particularly Los Angeles history, into an illustrious decades-long career where she touched the lives of so many. She was known for her infectious love for history throughout her tenure teaching at Los Angeles Valley College from 1975 to 2000, while also teaching part-time at CSUN from 1985 to 2000. From 2002 to 2014, she served as assistant and associate professor, emeritus professor of history from 2014 to the present. She taught classes such as LA history, past, present, and future, and U.S. urban history. Additionally, she served as an interim coordinator for the history department at CSUN and was instrumental in launching the successful careers of numerous students. When she was not in the classroom, she spent her time as an avid traveler. During her travels, Mary actively immersed herself in the lifestyle and the culture of the many different places she visited. She would light up whenever she encountered a friendly cat on one of her many travels, but nothing made her happier than her 2 cats waiting for her at home. She is survived by her 2 daughters and her brother. Mary's kindness and intellect will always be remembered by those who knew her, while others will come to know her through her scholarly work. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. May she rest in peace. Councilmember Harris Dawson.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chair and members. Today, I ask at the request of her family that we adjourn in the memory of one Miss Carolyn Hamilton. She was born and raised in Los Angeles, born in 1937, and a proud resident and constituent of the Watts community, and would tell you she was from Watts at any opportunity there was. Miss Hamilton lived a full life here in the city of Los Angeles, raising 5 children in our community, and her family asked that in remembering her, we talk about how she lived, but what they wanted to talk most about is how she died. Folks felt like she showed us how to die. When she was diagnosed with terminal cancer, she turned down all of the curative care procedures and the expensive health care. She said she felt strong and she felt good, and she wanted to spend her time with her family and her neighbors and her church members. Her family reports that the last day that she was present was the day that the women's basketball team at USC, who was here yesterday, it was while they were playing, and she turned to her family and said, "The women are better than the men now in basketball." And that was the last memory that she left her family with. Among her 5 children is one Leroy Hamilton, who you see there in the photo, who's one of our city's most prolific photographers. I think almost everybody in this room has had their picture taken by Leroy at least once. That was his mother, and the family is understandably inconsolable at this time, but we ask that she rest in peace and power. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any other adjourning motions? Oh, Councilmember Hutt.
Thank you so much, Council President. Councilmember Harris Dawson, please add my name to the adjourning motion.
Very well.
Council President. Councilmember, may you also add my name, please? Thank you.
Very good. Thank you. Any other adjourning motions, members? Seeing none, our work is complete. Go forth and serve the city well. This meeting is adjourned.
Los Angeles City Council.